chat too.
How have you been getting PMs every time Matt and I go?
On Discord during the stream. Anyway.
Yeah, no, we don't go.
Hello, Internet! I am going to completely ignore Max, continue on. It's 7 p.m. It's a Friday. I'm here.
You too. I'm going back to my game.
Oh, fuck you
God.
too.
Sneaky, now he's gonna play Dragon Ball for the rest of the weekend, and we're not gonna hear from him. I needed to finish writing my crack story, damn it.
You think he was gonna do that anyway? You are wrong. He was
There
going
was a chance.
I'll help Atin. He's not the one just fucking throwing me to the side.
Throwing me to the side. I said, quit your fucking nerd talk. We're gonna read shit fanfiction. It's like you even read this shit fanfiction anyway.
You're right. I don't read it at all. Never mind the blood I have spilled from my eyes for you.
Max,
do you have the shower
you've
gun
all
already?
bled from the eye.
I'm sorry. Did Max unlock the shower gun?
Unfortunately, no. Turns out I am not an Uchiha.
Oh, that's a damn shame.
Yeah, apparently the doctors say that's not normal.
No.
Wait, Doctor, are you telling me that I can't just pop my brother's eyes out to gain more power?
I mean, you can always try. Anyway.
All right, so Doc, I have a completely unrelated follow-up question. How easy is it to put an eye back in? No reason.
Anyway, so tonight we are going to have a lovely little story called Shinobi Father. Sailor Moon Naruto
Are any of us familiar with Sailor Moon enough that we could read this?
Yes, I am familiar with it enough.
Mildly familiar with Sailor Moon?
Okay, because the only thing I know about this show is bits and pieces I remember from my childhood, and I remember the general formula, and that Tuxedo Mask was kind of useless.
But also the most baller guy in the show.
Like, he showed up, it's like, cool, I'm gonna go now that I helped.
Well, don't worry about it, because we're not getting to that. What we are getting to is cringe.
Is it cringe with Tuxedo Mask?
No, it's cringe before Tuxedo Mask. It's Queen Serenity times Naruto. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Wait for it.
Hang on, wait. Queen Serenity was the villain, right?
The mother of Sailor Moon.
Oh.
Yeah, from the past. When she sent her daughter into the future.
Don't look.
Sailor Moon had time.
Yes, it did, Max.
There was a lot of time travel.
I missed a lot of shit when I was a kid then.
Yes. Look, Max, it's an anime. The less you ask about the time travel, the happier you're going to be.
Anyway.
I'm a Blaze Blue fan.
Yes.
That's the
As I said, the less you ask, the happier you'll be.
I'm not allowed to be happy.
There is a reason why Sailor Moon looks like Naruto. It started when Pine's Shibaku Tensei succeeded, trapping Naruto inside a moon. Too bad Nagoto crashed it far into the Silver Moon Kingdom, where the battered Jinchuriki. No, Jinchuriki.
How many bottles in are you?
What?
Jinchuriki.
No, you're lying to me.
Jinchuriki.
No,
Oh my.
He's not. He is not.
Jinchuriki was found by a cold Queen Serenity. Let it go! Let it go!
Sneaky, does this mean that they have a Slim Jin made out of Jinchuriki now?
Yes.
Excellent.
Anyway. You know, this should. You know how I always say that story summaries typically set the tone for what the story is going to have in it?
Yeah?
Yeah. Nagato's nose bled. His eyes bled. His ears bled. Crimson liquid fell down his face as he watched his final attack wrap the very earth around the nine-tailed fox. Chibaku Tensei. He coughed another stream of blood. I have captured you, Fox. From his place within the tree, he prayed that he wouldn't have to do any more. He just didn't have the strength. All of his energy went into that last attack. Please, Kami, please, let this be the end. Nagato, you don't have to go so far, ... This is the 9 tails we are talking about. Conan. Suddenly, the large moon he created started to shatter as the head of a giant beast made its way out. No, 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 no! He coughed, pools of red falling down to his chest. This can't be! It's so unfair. What power! Nagato, the moon you've created, send it up! Conan screamed. If the beast lands on the earth, I am not sure if anyone or anything will survive. Nagato raised his spiraled eyes to the giant roaring creature, then looked at the concerned eyes of his friend, and then closed his own. Conan, I am so sorry. With his last strength, he pushed all his energy into the very force of gravity. The very force of gravity.
I just have nothing to say. Carry on.
Sending the screaming 8-tailed beast into the air. This is the end for me. Conan's expression cracked and she hugged her longtime friend. No, Nagato! She reached up and unhooked the crippled man out of the machine and pulled him over her shoulder. Stay awake. We've done what we can. She looked up as her tree broke, as the atmosphere started to sizzle, as the creature released another bolt of pure energy. Maybe this was meant to be. To control such power, this world is better off without it. Within minutes, the moon made of rock and soil rose through the atmosphere, never to be seen by the elemental nations again. At the same time, Naruto left his solar system. Its reality became no more. Any words?
No.
Well,
Just,
really?
I got nothing to say to this. So, nothing apart from a minor grammar error. Nothing offensive so far. Like,
Really? No, nothing.
compared to what we normally read, Sneaky.
You're not gonna no comment on the Naruto verse deleting itself because Naruto isn't in it anymore.
No,
All right.
really nothing to say. It's stupid. It's incredibly stupid. What do you want me to say besides it's stupid? It's incredibly stupid.
I don't know. Honestly, I was kind of expecting more rage and pain. But Isley does raise up a good point. Why did she extract him from the life support machine?
I don't, I'm not sure about that. That would be like someone going, "Oh, the Emperor is in so much pain. Let me pull him off the Golden Throne."
Indeed.
Isn't the Golden Throne what's keeping him alive? Yes, but in his last moments, he should know some love. What? No, it doesn't have to be his last moments. Just leave him in the machine. Nope, too late.
Oh?
But, I mean, it's stupid. It's incredibly stupid. I can't even get mad anymore. Like,
You can
I'm
get
sure
mad.
later on we'll find something that will rekindle the hatred in my soul. But for now, it's just taking a nap.
You were gonna say something, Max?
Nah, just like the only reason he was unhooked from the machine in canon was because he used a revival technique. That is literally the only reason. Theoretically, the implication there was if he'd just killed Naruto, he probably would have lived through that.
Oh, probably.
All you have to do is kill the Nine Tails.
Simple.
Yeah, let me get right on that.
In fact, actually, by successfully removing the Ninetales from the planet, congratulations, sir. You actually just saved the world, not destroyed it.
Yeah. Like, look,
Like,
on one hand,
unironically, good job. You kind of killed an innocent kid, but you did stop the big bad from, completing their plan.
they can literally never complete. They can literally never complete it.
Well, he also did delete the universe, so...
Yes, but that's not what would actually happen.
Well, neither would sending Naruto out of the solar system. So...
Yeah, fair enough. But look, I mean, like I said, I don't have the the effort to be. Like, it's stupid, it's dumb, it's contrived. But you know what? At least the author's like, nope, that's it. No one else from Naruto is coming. There will be no going back to the Naruto verse. We're purely moving into the Sailor Moon universe. The end.
Alright.
Which, honestly, you know what? That's a lot more than some of the authors we've seen, and it's a lot less idiotic than some of the ways we've seen some people sent out of the universe. Like, remember the one where, was it Valera? No, it was, what's her face? Gets turned into a banshee.
Oh, Taylor.
What?
I don't think he's referring to the Banshee Warframe, Sneaky.
Oh, there's a story
No,
called
I'm sorry.
Whale of the Banshee.
I mean the Warcraft 3 unit.
Oh,
Sylvanas, that's it.
yes.
It's less idiotic than Sylvanas having a teleport, a Hearthstone crystal, just malfunction, and she just steps through it, goes, oh, this isn't where I'm supposed to be.
Isley, it's a dead
behind
story.
me.
Isley, it's a dead story called Whale of the Banshee, in which Taylor from Worm gains the Warframe suit, the Banshee. It was really good when it was, not dead.
Sadly, it won't be as interesting as if Taylor gained Banshee, the suit from Gundam Unicorn.
Indeed. Queen Serenity, recent monarch of the Moon Kingdom, sat by her pool watching the endless stars in the night, as if there was nothing happening. As it were, nothing was happening. Nothing that she could see, anyway. All the many planets and people living on them seemed so distant, so far away. It's because they fucking are. Their cares and worries so absent from her day-to-day life. She blinked as the bright lights of the night sky hurt her eyes. For a regular person, at least a person back on Earth, this would not occur. But Queen Serenity did not live on the Earth. No, she lived on the Moon, a place that had no atmosphere. That's right, boys and girls. Looking at stars during the nighttime hurts your eyes if there's no atmosphere. That's how that works, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's totally the atmosphere that's making your eyes hurt.
Yep.
Not the, lack of oxygen or anything like that.
And the lack of atmosphere. The stars, that's definitely. Looking at stars, that makes your eyes hurt, especially when you're doing it at nighttime on the moon. Nighttime
It's very
on the moon.
important. It's very important that you realize that if you ever end up on the moon and you can survive without a spacesuit, that you should definitely not look directly at the stars. Go blind.
Indeed. Anyway, the
Parents
tall
tell you that,
woman.
kids? Well, you terrible parent.
The tall woman swept aside her long silver hair, putting away into twin ponytails. Washing out the lather. When did she...
Wait.
What?
What?
When was she taking a bath?
I mean, maybe it's implied because she's sitting by a pool, but I thought that was for...
She
I
looked
thought it was like
sideways.
a scrying pool.
She looked sideways to her palace, watching if any of the gods would make an action. What?
So far, they hadn't. They were doing a good job?
What? She stood up over the large outdoor pool.
Is she like trying to entice one of her guards to come to the pool or something? What is going on here?
I don't know, man. She stood up over the large outdoor pool and watched her reflection. She wasn't getting any younger.
Is that really a concern for someone who's living on the moon?
She had once been so vibrant, so forceful, so chaotic. Now, though, she just wasn't sure. It had been a long time since she felt like a teenager, and the reality was she hadn't been one in 10 years. Approaching her 30th birthday, she could say her young years were far behind her.
This writer must be like 12.
30! Really, your young years are behind you at 30. Interesting. I didn't realize normal humans died at age 40.
How old is this fucking author?
I don't know.
Alright, we have no idea.
Approaching her, blah, blah, blah. Grain so small, never to be found again. She twirled her silver hair one last time, watching her reflection on the pool. Oh, she was still beautiful, that she had no doubt, but the youth had left her. Once she had a thin waist, once she had a small face, once she had such delicate features. Now all of those features were no more, because apparently she's super fat now.
I don't think this person understands how getting to age 30 works.
Naruto is like 17 by Pain Fight.
I thought actually, yeah, you're right. Just about 17. I thought he was older for some reason.
She looked
Maybe
at...
he stopped acting like a dumbass.
You
Indeed.
probably think he's older because he was 18 by the time the Fourth War hit.
She looked at the reflection sadly as her pale form glowed in the dark night. The stars in the pool reflected off so brightly. She smiled, thinking how strange it was that she could look at the bright, blazing balls of fire through the water, yet never look at them without burning her eyes.
Wait.
What? What? Max, you're the English major. What the fuck?
I'm sorry, I'm the what?
You're the English major of the group.
Okay, what sentence am I looking at?
She smiled, thinking how strange it was that she could look at the bright, blazing balls of fire through water, yet never look at them without burning her eyes.
Go ahead, Max.
Sentence structure is technically correct. You fucking what, mate?
Queen Serenity stared intently at the sun through the pool, watching it as it grew brighter and brighter and brighter. This wasn't right. She'd been watching this sun many times, and it shouldn't have acted like that. She looked up at the sky, avoiding the blazing stars that would have damaged her vision. Because apparently these fucking stars have their high beams on. And tried to look at the bright source, whatever it was.
Does you think that every star, I mean, yes, technically every star is a sun, but they think that, like, looking at a star is the same as looking at our sun?
Yes, they do. And tried looking at the bright source. Whatever it was, it contained a tremendous amount of energy. The Moon Queen stared off at her crystal palace far ahead, watching for any of the gods nearby. She called out for a few, and none came. Sighing as she walked past her pool and reached for a towel. Wiping off the water
Okay,
that trickled...
A, I think she is trying to seduce the guards. Also, B, these guards are not doing a good job if they are nowhere near their queen.
I'm really confused.
She's like,
walking
get over here.
past her pool and reached for a towel. Wiping off the water that trickled down her pale, thin body. I thought she wasn't thin anymore. The woman took it upon herself to find some clothes. Okay. So she... Wait. She was looking at the pool, but she was in the pool, bathing.
No, apparently she was just sitting, like, beside the pool, naked, washing her hair.
Oh, of course. My bad. I didn't... But apparently there's also no clothes for her to change into, so now she's just walking around her courtyard naked?
No, she has a towel.
No, you reach her a towel to wipe off the water. She's not wearing it. She just wiped the water off her body and now was walking around looking for clothes. Naked.
Look, man, I don't know. I don't know how to make sense of idiocy.
She chided herself for making this one night she had given her handmaidens a day off. All of them at the same time, simultaneously.
Yep, every single one of them. Because that's how days off should be done.
Never again would she make this mistake of giving people a day off. Had tomorrow not been such an important day, the day the entire kingdom would be expecting her to hold the tournament to determine her one-time mate. Only one time. She can only have one kid. Well, actually, not even one kid. She only has one-time mate. So, literally, one time she has sex. That's it for the rest of her life. Only one sex.
No, I think what the author is implying here is that she's only going to partner with one person.
Well, that's unfortunate because what they wrote...
I am aware.
...was one night stand.
Yes.
Anyway. She wouldn't have allowed such a thing. Alas, the castle was vastly understaffed for today, because apparently she just gave everyone the day off.
Yeah, and now she's like, man, giving everyone the day off at once was terrible. I guess no one gets a day off ever again, ever.
Yep. Gods! Wait, hold on.
You know what? These moon guards should unionize.
They should. Communism, in fact. Gods! Gods! A guard walked out from his post looking nervous. He tried not to look at the much taller queen, dressed only in white robes. He stared at the floor and
Where
kneeled.
did the robes come from?
Fuck you! What is your command, Queen Serenity? The Moon Queen scowled. Sorry, I almost just read that as moon presence. I've been reading a bit of Bloodborne wiki.
Oh, you don't
Just
say.
a bit, eh?
Just a bit. But did not reply at first. She wasn't sure what she wanted. All she knew was that there was something wrong with one of the suns in the night sky. She closed her mouth before speaking. It's nothing. You may return to your post.
What? So you've been looking for a guard this entire time to what? Say, guard, get over here. Oh, what do you need, ma'am? I don't need nothing. Back to your post. Is this your equivalent of haha, let's laugh at the poor people, lady?
It might be.
Maybe.
Because so far, I'm hoping the moon I'm hoping the moon with Naruto in it kills you.
Oh. The guard looked at her curiously, but did as he was told, looking a bit disappointed he had nothing to do. If you need anything else, my queen, I will be here. The queen smiled, but didn't say anything. The queen continued to watch the glowing energy, but this time from her balcony in her palace. Whatever it was coming closer. Was this some kind of spaceship? No, it couldn't be. Their scanners would have detected if that was the case. Then what was it? An enemy? A friend? An ally?
Hey, I don't know what this is, but maybe you should, like, warn your commander. Be like, just pick up the phone and be like, hey, Bob, yeah, there's this weird light and it keeps coming closer. Can you give it a quick scan? See what it is? Yeah, thanks. Have a good day.
Yeah, but fuck you. She couldn't be sure. She didn't want to take that risk. It was coming towards her world at tremendous speed, and she'd be damned if it ruined tomorrow's event. The queen had waited 20 years for tomorrow. Tomorrow would be the day she would have a mate, the strongest male in the entire kingdom, and she would finally have an heir to her throne. Such a practice seemed barbaric to the other planet kingdoms. Mercury certainly thought so, and Jupiter was a bit perplexed as to why they should continue such an old tradition, but the queen insisted on this. Much as she insisted on most her citizens wearing clothing similar to what resembled fairy-like articles of the Fae courts. Not many understood the reasoning behind the strange way their kingdom was set up. It seemed beautiful, of course, so technologically advanced. However, the reality was that it was badly designed against invaders. Many tried to tell the queen that in the event of a rebellion, the kingdom would undoubtedly fall. But the queen would not be dissuaded from the way she shaped her kingdom to look like her perfect silver millennium.
Look, I just want to point out, this hoe is so totalitarian. She's like, you dress this way. How has there not already been a rebellion?
Because fuck you.
You know what? I'm waiting for the author to surprise us and give us a bourgeoisie uprising.
Bourgeoisie?
Yeah. Hey, if they don't have to use proper pronunciation, neither do I.
Fair enough.
Don't encourage him.
It's almost here. She turned away from the balcony and proceeded down the steps. The queen watched in fascination as the giant ball of energy came closer to where the astronomers predicted that it would land. She had her team of guards with her in case something dangerous were to occur. The astronomers said that whatever was coming to impact their home, it wasn't a spacecraft. They weren't sure what it was. The queen and her guards... Wait, they're waiting outside of the impact zone? Of what?
I guess. And that's his own you live on the moon. You should understand what a terrible idea this is.
To anyone unaware of how meteors and asteroids and all that fancy hitting planet shit stuff works, I'll give you an idea. A fist-sized meteor, as its proper term is, when it hits the ground of Earth, a fist-sized meteor can cause literally square miles of cratering, depending on, the density and the size, and, the speed it's coming in on, the angle it's coming in on. But still, mile. Easy. And you're just gonna stand outside the impact zone of apparently a massive ball of energy.
Like, realistically, they should be in a much bigger panic, because now I know the moon that Nagato made wasn't very large, but it was still pretty hefty. Like how big would you, can we guesstimate how big it was?
Well,
Small meteoroid, at least.
Yeah, at minimum, small meteoroid.
Probably a planet killer.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and that's just gonna smash into the moon.
Yeah.
Earth's moon is going to be gone. Y'all should be panicking, firing up the orbital defenses, whatever you can do to try to get this giant rock to not hit your, home.
Yeah, but you don't understand. Queen Serenity demanded they let it land. The queen and her guard stood watching, waiting as it approached and held in their breaths as the figure made impact. Many of the guards blocked the queen from the rubble that scattered when the giant ball of energy dispersed into the ground. And even more tried to get the queen away from it. Alas, that wouldn't work, as their queen was adamant in finding out what was inside that ball of energy. She stepped over the guards! Apparently they're on the ground.
Either that or all her guards are munchkins.
Yeah. To look at the thing...
Stay away from the fucking meteor.
She stepped over the guards. Look at the thing that was to come out from the ground. To look at the thing that was to come out from the ground.
That there's some right good English it is, ain't it, Max?
Don't, no. Just stop.
Stop
But
what?
finding
I'm
nothing
just making
moving.
sure I use his proper English.
Stop. Get some help.
Where are your parents?
Dead. I took their eyes.
You need your parents. I'm calling your parents.
You don't have their numbers.
Anyway. Blah 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 something blah 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 dark planets, dark kingdoms, dark moon kingdoms. Is that a boy? It was a boy, a naked boy. Someone pulled a cape out and put it over the naked boy. He looks hurt. We should take him back. He was an earthling. We should take him back to the medical tent. They took him back to the medical tent. This is my favorite part, and then we're gonna stop it here and move on to something else, because this is a very long fic.
No one's asking questions like, oh, hey, should we maybe make sure he can breathe, or that the lack of an atmosphere isn't murdering him?
The doctors didn't find anything unusual about the boy, other than the fact he was healing at a very odd rate. He had his bones broken in a dozen places, and most of his circulatory system was fried. How someone managed to destroy so many internal body parts, they were not entirely sure. Maybe it was the giant ball of energy he was in. It was as someone...
maybe it was just good old-fashioned blunt force trauma.
Get ready for the best part. It was as if someone had set fire to his nervous system.
Fuck it, I don't care.
His brain activity seemed normal, which was strange, since a good part of his frontal lobes were missing.
Alright, look, I get this is Naruto, but that's death.
And yet they were growing back at an odd rate. You mean like at all, because those don't grow back?
Ever?
That didn't make much sense to the doctors, but the Moon Kingdom did have citizens with similar abilities, so it didn't seem that far of a stretch. What worried them was that the healing factors of him seemed to come from within the boy's body, not from external forces. That meant this boy was possibly an alien of their solar system, a member of the Dark Kingdom. That wasn't something they were willing to say out loud without proof, of course, but the signs were all there. They had to bandage him as best as they could and keep him under sedation.
Oh, hey, his frontal lobe's regrowing. Let's just sedate the hell out of him.
I'm sure that won't impair him at all.
Nah, no problems here.
Anyway, yeah, so we're moving on. That was painful. I honestly thought it would be more drinking levels of painful. It really didn't even get mad enough to drink.
Oh, come on. Are you sure you don't want to keep going, Sneaky? We could get an entire night out of this fucking thing. Holy fucking shit. How long is this goddamn chapter?
Really fucking long, mate. I told you.
Yeah, but I just scrolled down to the bottom. Like, Jesus.
Wait, this isn't Bleach. Indeed. Come on, bookmarks. Open up.
Oh, Calvin's here. Good morning, Calvin.
Hello, Calvin. Wait, no, that's not what I wanted. I wanted... Oh, here we go. This is what I wanted. Is Naruto going to have to kill more of the darkies?
What?
Wait, were you not there for that?
I'm gonna need an explanation real quick.
I'm pretty
'Cause
sure
that's,
you were there for that one. Okay, so to anyone curious, someone was writing a story, a Naruto story. I believe it was a crossover, and they misspelled something, and they accidentally said darkies instead, and had Naruto kill them all. It was a legitimate misspelling, like it wasn't like a troll effect or something. It was just straight up a legitimate misspelling that just happened to be extraordinarily bad.
Oops, I accidentally wrote a racial slur. My bad.
Alright, so the next story up is The Wolf, the Princess, and the Red. As always, the fic is found in the Discord down below.
And because Sneaky seems to have forgotten it this week, do not contact these authors. Do not harass them in any way. Do not give them reviews or comments unless they specifically ask for it.
That too. A Faunus assassin decides to join Beacon Academy and gets added as an extra to Team Ruby.
Immediate mark of death.
Cardinal sin, death penalty. Will he survive this group of girls he's been put with, or will he be destroyed by his dark past? White Rose...
Well, given the fact that Blake is on the team, the answer to that is pretty self-explanatory. And B, we have said it before, and we will say it again. You don't just add people to the teams. The teams are made of 4 people for a very good reason. You can change up the people on the teams all you want. Mix and match them. That's fine. But the number stays at 4.
Actually, I did see one story that actually did it right and did a 5th member, but he had Ozpin rotate the 5th member between all the teams so they could, quote, get used to working with people not on their team.
Okay. And that's okay. But again, like you said, here's the thing. No, that person wasn't a permanent addition to any.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying, though. They did it correctly. Anyway. Baked Alaska, Black Ice, White Rose times OC. Everyone's out of character. Rated M for future chapters.
Well, author, now you can just go fuck yourself. Because if you're just going, yeah, everyone's out of character right off the bat, fuck you. I don't want to read your story.
This is the revised version of the first chapter. I looked back and saw some grammar errors in my writing and some continuity holes, so I decided to rework some earlier chapters. Oh no.
Yeah, too bad you haven't fixed the fact that you apparently can't write the characters the way they're supposed to be written, which thus defeats the entire purpose of a fan fiction.
I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, the purpose of a fan fiction is to write a fan work about the fiction you're a fan of. And
if I come to the Ruby section, I want to read about the Ruby universe with Team Ruby. I don't want to read about whatever stupid fucking sex story this author is going to write.
Yes, he did in fact misspell continuity. The Remnant is a dark, cruel place bent on destroying its inhabitants. The world existed on a fine balance between light and dark. This balance was the core belief of many cultures in Remnant. Despite this, one clan who had held the belief to their very core had begun to shake this balance. The village of this clan was built in rows of homes around a center structure that housed the matriarch's council. All the buildings were mere huts meant to protect the occupants from the weather, but this didn't matter to the people that lived there. They were always in the wilds, not welcome to live in the 4 kingdoms. These wolf faunus were all trained and deadly assassins. This was the home of the Pack, a group
Put
of
on
mercenary...
the banner.
A group of mercenary killers for hire that took jobs to uphold the peace and disrupt it. This being a large part of their belief of how to keep the balance in the world of Remnant. Oh boy, it's the Assassin's Creed, but wolf faunus. They were slowly beginning to aid in the efforts to bring the world to its knees. One young faunus, however, was not going to let this happen. Okay, question here. If you want a balance between light and dark, why the hell are you helping the people that want to destroy the world? Because then you won't have a balance at all. Everyone's just going to be dead. That's not a balance.
Like, if it was like, oh, some people in the village are working for Ozpin, and some of them are working for, Salem, sure, that checks out.
It's just business. Nothing personal, kid.
It's stupid, but it would at least fit with the idiocy the author has written.
A young idiot called, faunus called Raymond Redditon. What? Oh no, is that really his name? Slade was walking. Slade!
Really? They're calling the assassin Slade? Hey, bring, we got some copyright infringement.
Was walking to the matriarch's hut tonight. He was going to keep his clan from falling away to the darkness. He burst through the door of the main building and pushed his way to the front of the crowded side. His familiar silver hair pulled back into a loose warrior braid, bangs falling over his right eye, letting everyone know who he was.
Do it. Okay. Oh, boy! Boy! Remember how I said I was going to get angry later tonight? We found it. Hey, first of all, fuck you all. I can't express that sentiment enough. Second of all, do we have like an Edgelord Plus banner or something? I feel like we need to give this guy the Edgelord ranking of S or triple S.
The Edgelord rating.
And also, you're telling me that no one else in the village has this has a hairstyle similar to this guy's?
No,
because if you're answering yes to that, author, you can get the fuck out.
Anyway, why have you allied our clan with these people, Wolf Mother? He shouted, gaining everyone's attention as use of the clan's honorific for the woman. Why have you let them blind you this way? All of the Pack's elders were looking at Slade now. He was dressed in the clan's normal attire, a dark gray chest plate with black trim with matching arm and shin guards and mesh armor shirt and white undershirt and dark gray black cargo pants with the belt holding his sword and 2 knives and a large gun on his left thigh and in black boots and dulled so they wouldn't shine in the moonlight of the missions, and all of this was an off-white hooded cloak that faded to gray towards the hem and near the ends of the sleeves, and the clan symbol, a snarling black wolf's head on the back of the cloak. His hood was kept down to show his face, although he wore a gray flat cap with black trim on that covered his ears.
Holy shit, this is so bad. Max, you want to take this one?
No, you feel free. This hurts a little, if I'm being honest.
Alright, this is... Alright, first of all, this is in no way how you start with a character. This is in no way how you describe what the character is wearing! This is just... bad! So... very bad and edgy!
Indeed. The matriarch, dressed in the same manner except the sword, stood in front of her seat, frowning at the pup that was confronting her with silver eyes flashing in the low light.
Oh, good, he's got silver eyes too! Get the fuck out.
I do what is best for the pack, my child. The White Fang has promised to pay well for our services and said they will pay extra if we give our undivided support. She looked at the wolf standing. So wait, it's a clan of balance that is really obsessed with balance on both sides of destruction and not destruction, except a little bit of money is all it took for them to be like, yeah, fuck the world, destruction all the way.
Checks out. Makes perfect sense. Carry on.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing the problem, Snaky.
Anyway. She looked at the wolf standing before her and spoke again. Surely, you understand I do this for the pack's honor. Breaking the balance that we have kept for generations will bring us no honor, but will only disgrace us in the eyes of the Mother Moon!
Everything hurts.
There is no glory in their cause, not since they turned on their own ideals. They will drag us into the depths of corruption with them. He was furious that the woman who had taught him the pack's ways was now turning her back on them as well as the rest of the clan. You bring disgrace to us by questioning my decision, Hitler boomed, causing the rest to shrink back in fear. I will lead our clan to a new world where faunists rule over humans and we are demigods among men. I will protect our people, pup, and you should remember your place. Atin, you still okay there?
Just fucking...
Now you see why I said Hitler.
In the future, avoid the Hitler jokes, but I see why you made it.
You will only bring destruction and darkness to us, Slade said, just loud enough for everyone to hear. You will kill us all by siding with the Fang. They are lost and you are following the blind. That was it. The elder fauness had heard enough. She walked towards the unflinching teen and slapped him square in the jaw. Leave this place, traitor! I brand you a lone wolf and banish you from my hearth. Get out of my sight.
Okay, so wait a minute. This whole thing where they're about like balance and destruction and growth and equal measures, they really don't have some kind of better process for dealing with someone whose opinion is different. Boy, that seems short-sighted for a group that's basically built around polarized differences. It's almost as if no thought was put into this idea.
I was gonna say no fucks were given, but yeah, that works too. I mean, I'm sure I could do something, women joke, something. And just imagine something. I'm
But
sure
you're
you
above
all
that.
can do it. No, I mean, I'm not above that. I just don't feel like getting kicked off of Twitch.
This is where you're supposed to say you are above that.
I'm not above
Jesus.
that.
Thank God I don't have to do PR for you.
No, if anything, Max would be in charge of PR.
Max doesn't want to be in charge of PR either.
No, I don't, because I'd have to deal with you.
Well, see, I guess I'm in charge of PR then.
No. That's the
PR.
absolute last thing. There's just no PR.
No one is in charge of PR. If they ask us stuff, just tell them no comment, and that's it.
No comment.
That's it. No comment. That's the answer every
Like-
time.
Really?
It's gonna
Every
have to-
time, man?
Every time.
Every time, I'm like, all right, fine. How about you agree to a press conference?
Calvin will
We're
do the PR
kidding you.
for us. Thanks, Calvin.
Calvin, you don't want that.
No, you don't. No, you don't. But Snaky, anytime we have press conferences, I'm just gonna get you a hat and a shirt that both say no comment.
Oh,
You're
and
just
we
gonna
will
point at
duct tape your
those.
mouth shut.
You're just gonna point at those every time someone asks you a question.
If you want to change it up, we'll give you a fancy sign.
Slade stood there for a moment, a scowl on his face, and he smirked down at the woman. At least I can say I'm not part of this pack of dogs anymore, Mother. This only made all the onlookers gasp or growl at his statement. To call a wolf faunus a dog was paramount to saying they were worthless. Fuck you, I like dogs.
I was gonna say, I don't see how that tracks. I mean, like, I could see it being insulting, but I don't see how.
He then pulled out his handgun and shot the totem in the corner of the room, as was custom for one who was to leave the pack and turned on his heel to leave.
What? Okay, why is that custom? And B, how is this totem still standing? If you banish more than like 20 people ever, you're gonna have to recarve that totem every time.
Yeah.
Also, that is such a I don't know if the author thinks it's cool or edgy or symbolic or something.
Are you ready for more edge?
Dumb.
We're about to get some more edge.
Let me just
prepare for the edge.
a firearm in a crowded room.
So yes, if you're banished from the pack, you must shoot a totem.
Nothing can go wrong with this.
He stopped at the door, not able to resist one last jab at the faunus behind him. Oh, and Wolf Mother, forget I'm your son next time we meet. I'll be aiming to kill you and take back this clan's honor, Itachi.
Shouldn't he be more upset about being banned? Like, even if he came in here knowing it was gonna happen, he should probably be like, gee, the group of people that I've been with for my entire life has just disowned me. I feel some kind of emotional turmoil at this, even if I knew it was coming. You're right, I'm sorry. He's already cut all of his emotions off with the edginess.
Indeed. He doesn't need emotions. All he has need of is edge. Shade walked out of the village after packing his meager possessions in 2 small cases in a pack. No one challenged him. Only a few watched him go. They heard the shouting and the gunshot. They knew it meant he was no longer one of them. He was now an outsider. Maybe I should join the side of the light since no one else will, he thought to himself as he left. Yeah, I guess I should, and I know where just to go. After all, I heard Vale is lovely this time of year. I am now Slade Lone Wolf. He vanished into the night, heading for a school.
All right. Sneaky, we have our first edge off. How does Slade Lone Wolf stack up against Spydar Poison Blood?
Oh.
Round 1, go!
Oh. Spydar Poison Blood versus Slade Lone Wolf. I still think Spydar Poison Blood is edgier sheerly because of the reasoning behind the name.
True, but I would posit that the reasoning behind Slade Lone Wolf is as bad.
No,
because
Slade was his given name, and then Lone Wolf was the title he was granted as an outcast.
Yeah, Sneaky, I'm aware of that.
But see, that makes sense, though, in terms of just dumb naming schemes.
I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I'm saying I think it's edgier.
No, it's not. There's no way it can be possibly as edgy as Spydar Poison Blood, because not only is Spydar Poison Blood spelled incorrectly, it wasn't even a name that was given to him. It was a name he chose for himself to sound intimidating with.
Yeah, you're right. That does not, however, detract from the fact that these are both edgy as shit, and if you find yourself naming characters anything even remotely close to something this bad, you should immediately rethink your story.
Yes, if your characters end up named Battle Crusher the Ass Destroyer or something like, I don't know.
Sounds a little Freudians there, Sneaky.
I don't know what I don't know what the heck is it? What do 12-year-olds think is a cool, edgy, awesome name?
Slade Lone Wolf, obviously.
Fair enough. Non-furries. Oh right, Poison Blood was female, according to Isley.
That we really don't care. It does not make it does not materially alter the situation.
Oh, Calvin. Alright,
Does
so
not alter how
this
stupid it
is
is.
this is a really edgy Ruby story, as always, found in the Discord. Tale of Two Worlds. Earth, Remnant, no longer separate entities. The world would be changed forever as these two civilizations were unwillingly forced to combine into one. Wait, what do you mean two civilizations? There was like 4, 5-ish on Remnant, and there's like, okay, you could say Western and Eastern civilization if you really want to get generic, but, so there's American, there's Europe, there's South American, there's Africa, there's China.
Well, Africa is its own, like Africa is its own thing because Africa's got so much on it.
Yeah. There's the Middle East, there's Japan, there's China, because you can't really even group the Eastern kingdoms together,
Oh yeah.
countries together as one culture, because it's just like, yeah, okay, so they all believe in some variation of multi-pantheon stuff, and they all speak with whatever the fuck those things are called.
Characters.
No, they're not called characters. That's Roman, right? Whatever. Point being, Japanese culture is as different from Chinese culture as American is from Europe.
Yeah, anyway, the point here is there are multiple.
Point is, there was way more than 2. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. As these two civilizations were unwillingly forced to combine into one. No.
See, I don't see how that would be too much of a complaint because for everyone on Earth, it'd be like, oh, we all get superpowers. Dope. And for Remnant, it's like, oh my gosh, this is literally billions of people. We can totally wipe out the Grimm now.
Yeah.
Well, more than that, there's billions of people with way more guns than we have.
Yeah.
And tanks and planes and VTOL like.
And those are nukes. Okay. We're just gonna point those at the Gremlins.
My point being is, hey, how is this fusion going to occur? How are you going to move literally entire civilizations onto Remnant?
Or vice versa.
You're not gonna like the epilogue at all.
What epilogue?
Sorry, the prologue. My apologies. I don't know why I said epilogue.
I think I probably got confused by the stupidity.
I think I want it to be done already.
Yeah, probably. I don't blame you. Isaac, you should.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, on the other hand,
Begin the exterminatus.
maybe we'll get to read about some guy flying. I can't think. The best. Oh my gosh, it's the best plane ever. We'll get to read about some guy using a warthog to just mop up Beowulfs.
When it first happened, there was no warning, no flash of light, no sirens, no alarms to warn either world they would soon merge with the other. Two worlds that were never meant to intertwine, and yet, until they both became one, neither knew the other existed? Okay.
Interesting, so we'll pretend that, I guess...
So we got lots of purple pros.
Franchise.
Lots of purple pros going on right here.
Mm-hmm.
No one knows what happened, blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. When the governments of all had figured out that a colossal new continents filled with life and society magically appeared mere miles from their own, both sides were in a flurry. So they literally, tectonic plates just vaporized and were replaced with other tectonic plates.
oh boy, author, we gotta have a chat about this.
Yeah, but talk about the population estimation here as well.
Yep.
All right,
Divine
no,
intervention when you
these problems
squeeze.
one by one. All right, author.
Wait.
Just-
Whoa, 3 billion people? That is really generous for Remnant.
that is super generous.
4 billion people actually, because
No.
when the author wrote this, they had it at 7 billion. I think in 2017 we were still on the lower end of the 7.5 scale.
Yeah.
Can I track down the world population back in January?
Yeah, we're at 7.5.
So yeah, we just hit that cusp.
And we're doing a lot better than Remnant.
Yeah, we don't quite have that common enemy. So
Also, man, imagine how happy Japan would be with the faunus.
Yes.
and I think they'd be happy just having a better female to male ratio at that point.
Fair enough.
Anyway, such lands appear. Okay, so I'm guessing this is normal Earth with Remnant appearing on it.
I guess. But no matter which one we're doing here,
Yeah.
author, we
yeah.
gotta have a talk about basic geography.
I'm not sure how this will work because we don't know how big Remnant is compared to Earth.
Okay, but here's the thing. We know
There's a
that
lot
Remnant's
of
big.
I would also like to point out that I would not even say Remnant has more than 50 million people in total.
Yeah.
Because
look,
how many?
50 million.
He-
The average city population is at max like 10 million.
like even if they're super cities that contain vast majority of the human population, there's only so large you can build a city like that.
Okay, the largest population
Yeah.
in the world is 24 million. That's Shanghai. Beijing follows after that with 21. Delhi follows after that with 16. Like, and we know how many people exist in China and India, so it's nowhere near that packed. Because, like, okay, maybe Beijing. No. How big are Remnant
Okay.
cities?
We don't
Here's the thing.
we
Even
don't
if we
know.
Even if we took it into consideration, the fact of the matter is, let's say each of the four major kingdoms, each of the four big cities, is the size of Beijing, right? That was what, 24 million per city?
24 million for Shanghai, 21 million I think for Beijing.
I'm sorry.
By the way,
Shanghai.
Beijing is 3 times the size of Shanghai apparently
Yeah, okay.
in terms of square mileage.
Let's just say generously that each of the four major kingdoms, their capital city, is as large as Shanghai. That's 24 million people per city.
Okay, so we got some maths here going on. One person's claiming that if Remnant was the size of Earth, as this author is claiming, then the city of Vale would be around the size of Egypt. With a population of a major city, that would put it at around 386 million people. Which,
For Egypt or total?
for Vale the size of Egypt. For the city of Vale the size of Egypt.
I'm sorry, they're saying the city of Vale is the size of the country.
If Remnant is the size of Earth,
right,
Vale proportionally would be the size of Egypt.
Okay.
And with that proportion in mind, with the standard city population density, it would have roughly 386 million people in it. The problem I have there is we've seen season 1 and 2. we've seen season 1 and 2 and 3. We know how big Vale is. Not big.
Well, you've seen bits and pieces of 1 to 3.
Okay, yeah, but we saw the dock scene, and
Yes,
the size of the docks is a distinct impression of how big the city is going to be.
Even ignoring that, we have seen flyovers of the city, not whole flyovers, but I'm sure there's enough flyovers that
We've only seen, I think we've only seen bits and pieces of Vale, and even the docks we saw appeared to be one small section of it,
why
or
are
at
we
least
talking about
just
this
a
stuff?
section.
We've seen a map of the full city.
Yep.
Roman has up a map of the full city.
Yep.
It's
I
not
know,
that
but
big
without
of a city.
Without a scale at, and we actually cannot say that. That's the issue. And keep in mind, this is only coming from the perspective of someone who did go through engineering. Even if I
am not saying you're wrong.
dropped out, scale is the most important part to these estimations.
Yes.
Without a proper scale, we can't say jack shit. For all we know, Remnant is actually the size of a marble, and these are just tiny, tiny people.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
I mean, yes, that's possible, but that...
Okay, so it appears, Beacon. Do we know the size of Beacon?
Nope.
No.
We know it's big. We know we know you have to take an airship to get to it, and that's about it. We know Osmond has a giant fancy tower with a bunch of gears that appear to do jack all. And it's got a big ass courtyard.
Okay, we got some people here. Alright. Math on how big Vale is. Looking at a regular map. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Using the size of Earth. Let's take the map of Vale. Crop out the borders. Plus Beacon. We shrink down to the appropriate size. Using the island of patches of landmark. Overlaying it onto the map of Remnant. Vale is located here. Go ahead and measure the dimensions versus the blah blah blah. Mathing, more mathing. Find square kilometer per pixel using previous value. Okay, get more math. Okay, Vale is... Okay, yeah, Vale is about the... Holy shit. 3.5 million square kilometers is roughly the size of Vale. This is over a third of the landmass of the United States.
That's pretty big.
Keep in mind, though, these numbers are taken using Earth as a substitute for Remnant. We don't know if this is actually the same size. Note, I was only able to use pixels to calculate space, so, you know, keep that in mind as well. So we got a rough range of Egypt to third of the U.S.
Can you link me this post,
Yeah,
Sneaky?
Sure. I'll drop it into the there.
Okay.
Bear with us, folks. We're doing math. Sneaky. I'll get to work on a splash screen for math in progress. Please.
Mathing in progress, yes, indeed. Sorry, I actually really want to know the answer to this because it actually gets me really angry.
Calvin brings up a very good point. What third? From east to west or north to south?
It's a good point. I'm assuming it's going from east to west.
Yeah.
Because north to south doesn't produce that much landmass. You don't separate the city of that size into simple districts. Yeah, that is the thing. That is the thing. Zeke also brings up a very good point. That's why I always thought Vale was super freaking small. Because Roman's got a small ass map and small little districts marked out. Like, oh, hey, the houses are here and the food is here and the commercial district is here. Like, is that an oddly large commercial district? Is that an oddly large industry district? Yeah, but it is supposed to be basically a super city because it's the only city in the country.
It's a city that is self-sufficient.
Yeah. But my problem with that was, as Zeke said, you don't just mark out sections like that. If you're doing like a massive robbery, you're not going to have a small, fold out map of Vale and mark out sections you've robbed from there. If Vale's like the size of a third of the USA, you wouldn't cut out, you wouldn't take a third of the USA and be like, yeah, I robbed a store here in Idaho, and just put a giant X over Idaho, and I've robbed a store here in Texas.
One store in Idaho.
Yeah, like...
To be fair, there probably is only one store in Idaho.
That's like what Roman did, though. If it's gonna be that large, it's like, okay, well, wait a second. If it's gonna be that large, then why'd he use, that big of a map to mark places he's robbed? It's like, okay, yeah, it feels like the city is way smaller then. And Rooster Teeth has just been really bad with their consistency, I suppose.
To be fair, they've never given us a scale, and they wouldn't think they need to, because they don't have because they wouldn't think that people would be doing idiotic stuff like this.
I don't accept that for the simple reason of they're an internet company.
Maybe everyone's just really fucking big. Maybe everyone's just really big.
Okay.
Anyway, while you guys math, I'm gonna continue to blah blah blah.
Well, I'm not mathing. I'm eyeballing some cartography right now. Just need to find that fucking map Roman had.
Oh, that's on search up Vale on the Ruby Wiki, and that's the image they use.
Alright, anyway, on with this horrible show.
Indeed. Sorry about that, folks. Back to the fanfiction. Sometimes we want to lore hard and find out the answers to questions.
So that we can tell the author just how wrong they are.
More or less, honestly, yeah.
No, stop. Okay.
Anyway, so even going by the rough math that we previously received, we have 4 cities, roughly with, I would say, around the same population size, since it seems like they're all in sort of a stalemate post-war. So obviously they would all be around the same population size. Like, it's not like a Vietnam War occurred, right? Like, it was just a flat-out world war that occurred, and no one really capitulated to anyone else, as far as I'm aware, in Remnant history. Which would mean that all of the populations and their ability to output soldiers and gather resources were roughly the same. Which means their general populations were also the same. Which means, with 4 cities of that size, that's still roughly only 1.2, 1.5-ish billion people. At best. Like, that is at extremely high civilian density, citizen density. Extremely high. Because we're using Greater Sydney.
Yeah.
And a mega city. like Judge Dredd levels of mega city. Yeah, that's the other thing that I thought Remnant was supposed to be. Yeah, you would think that, right? It's almost like Rooster Teeth have no idea how to scale things. Anyway, that's the other thing that I had a problem with Beacon. It's they only apparently had like 5 teachers, period, at all, and then only took in like 20 kids. But then the auditorium fills up for all the new teams to be announced, and it's like 100 or so people there, and you're like, oh, okay, maybe they like staged the group formings over time, even though they said they would all be going out that night or that day at once at the same time together. So we're going to ignore that consistency problem with there. But then we go into some scenes with Beacon, and it's like, oh, this is actually like a class of 30. And then we zoom out more, and we're at the CCT tower, and now there's like 200 people on campus. It's like, okay, so the campus has 4 teachers who teach nearly the entire day or one class. But they somehow have, like, several thousand students, apparently. But only a cafeteria that could fit, like, 200 at best. But they're actually the size of New York, if we're gonna go with the size comparisons with Vale.
I don't know. The point is, the number that the author gives is absurdly generous.
Oh, I think we just spent 20 minutes pittering about on this.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did, because we're trying not to read the author's actual work.
That, and I actually want to be able to stand on solid ground and say, look at these facts. These facts say you're wrong! But it's understandable if an author didn't want to spend the time to do all this research. Like you said, it is understandable. This is confusing, understandably, to most people. Not that interesting to most people. So if you're not gonna do research and like this sort of stuff with like whole civilizations, when we're talking about that, as long as it makes sense, that's when I'm fine with you not doing research. I'm not fine with you not doing research with guns and first aid and how, the human body works, because that's all stuff we know very clearly.
Yeah.
But if you're like, alright, I'm gonna guess the population of Remnant, it's blank and blank, at least have it make sense. Don't just be like, oh yeah, it's like 5 million people, guys. Even though they're all
again,
located on only 4 cities.
Good point. I thought supposedly humanity was a dying race on Remnant.
Yeah, apparently we're supposed to be dying out on Remnant, except we have 1.5 billion people and have megacities that are basically impregnable. And the Grim attack... there we go, that's the other thing. So, there was the Grim attack on Vale, right? And, the whole Roman thing with the Grim.
Yeah, by the way, human and faunus are not they're not dying out on Remnant. They were before, and then they found dust. So that is incorrect claim.
You are correct.
They are just as much like cockroaches as we are on Earth.
Anyway, my point is that, with the whole, like, oh my god, the Grim, there's a breach in Vale, oh, Vale's gonna fall.
Vale gets cleaned up just fine.
It's like, wait a second. So a small breach, a small hole. The small hole, the size of a normal, mall courtyard. In a mega city the size of Egypt, apparently means Vale's gonna fall, and now we must bring in massive amounts of troops from Atlas. Question mark.
Even if the Grim are constantly flooding through that,
like, it would literally take Grim days to travel through the city.
Even if they don't need to sleep, even if they never get tired, even if they were constantly moving at maximum speed, which they would not be because they'd be busy trying to find and kill everyone.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, either the Grimm making a breach in Vale is a major threat to Vale because Vale is small and doesn't have many people left in it. Or the Grimm aren't a major threat at all to Vale if a small breach occurs because it is literally the size of Egypt or 1/3 the size of the US. And they have like 500 million people in the city. It's like more people probably would die from car crashes on a normal day than to a Grimm breach.
And sure, you can talk about panicking civilians and all that, but like, like, still doesn't matter like how panicked they are and how many Grimm they attract. It would still take them literal, if it's the size of Egypt, you know, let alone a third of the. If it was a third of the U.S., it could take them months to go from one end of the city to the other. Let alone wipe out enough people that living there is not feasible anymore.
To be fair, it only took one whole Attack on Titan. On the other hand, Grimm a lot easier to kill than Titans. But see, the problem with Attack on Titan is the Attack on Titan people knew the fuck they were talking about, because Attack on Titan was like, yeah, so, hey, the population of our city is like 100,000 people, and we lose like 20k every Titan attack. Every time a hole's opened, we might lose like half the population of our entire species. Like, oh, that's a big threat. Everyone should be concerned about that.
And more importantly, even if they don't lose like 20,000 people per Titan attack, it's a hell of a lot. It's a hell of a lot harder to fix up any of the walls in Attack on Titan because of how big they have to be to keep the Titans out. And as pointed out, Titans are much harder to kill.
Well, I mean, even if they weren't, like, you're playing the numbers game against an enemy that has more numbers than you, because apparently in the show itself at least, because I never got around to reading the manga. I don't even know if they've revealed this in the manga yet. We don't know how Titans are generated, but they're generated. Like Grimm, except for the part where like humanity only has like 100,000 people left, and so every time a single person dies to a not natural death, that's a big problem for them in terms of population. Because that's one less person to work fields, that's one less person to make things, that's one less person to sharpen swords and mine materials so they can continue fighting off the Titans. When you're talking about literally hundreds of millions of people, oh no, we lost 100 today. Oh, what did they do? Sneeze? Like,
yeah, no, like if there were hundreds of millions of people, like in just one city alone, a million people dying to a Grimm attack, sure, that'd be terrible. It would not be even close to remotely crippling for the city.
Oh no, a third of 100th of a percentage people died to a Grimm attack today. The horror.
Like, does it suck for the people in that district? Yes, of course it does.
But
it's not going to impact the city.
So it's one or the other. You can't have both, is my point. Is they're incredibly inconsistent. They have again, they aren't official maps, and they aren't officially sized to Rooster Teeth. But, according to user calculations, they're either freaking enormous, and thus everything in canon doesn't mean shit, or Vale isn't that big, and they have a very small population of people left, and every single death and attack by the Grimm is fatal. Or can be. Can't be both.
You literally can't have both. Anyway, so the worlds have been forced together somehow. Still no explanation on that.
Yeah. So anyway, moving on to this. Apparent blah 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 resources.
Calvin did some math for us.
24 days on foot. Yeah. So 1/3 of the U.S. 24 days on foot. Yeah.
And that, Calvin, did you take into account the fact that you have to eat, sleep, drink, shit, piss, etc.?
But not only that. This is gonna be my last. This is gonna, I swear, promise. This will be my last harp. The Blake missing scene. All three of them genuinely believed. I might forgive Ruby for not really understanding size, but Yang isn't that dumb when it comes to that sort of stuff, and Weiss certainly isn't that dumb. And neither is Penny, actually. Because she also helped him.
Penny literally can't be that dumb.
Also, all four of them genuinely believed that by walking around in the city looking for Blake, they had a good chance of finding her.
And to be fair, they did.
Which furthers my point. So either the city isn't that big because they genuinely believed they could find Blake if they just walked around for the day, or they're all beyond glue-eating dumb. You know? So, again, this just points to another instance of, I don't think Vale is that big. Another instance. Roman, sorry. I know I said I promised, but this reminded me of another instance. Roman robbed all the dust shops, according to Cinder, in a month. Yeah, in a month, by himself or with some help. In a city that, if it's the size of Egypt or the size of a third of the US, might take a month in of itself to get around. Let alone rob a place, travel back to a safe spot to dump your shit, and then go to another place, eat, sleep, and hide from the cops.
Yeah, Sneaky. As far as we know, Roman himself was the one doing all the robbing. Like, yes, he had people with him to help carry the dust, but as far as we know, he was personally present in some form for every robbery.
Yeah, and on top of that, the dust shipment from Atlas that was supposed to replenish the dust of the city was only, what, 30 cargo containers? At
To
best?
be fair, the ship wasn't unloaded.
I'm pretty sure it was unloaded.
Was
Otherwise,
it completely unloaded?
that's true. We don't know that. I'm assuming if they, by the speeds of normal loading unloading, because again, I lived in New Jersey. Okay, ports are kind of a thing there.
Yeah, I know. I'm not questioning that.
By the normal speed of loading unloading, with a tanker that size and with the equipment they showed, they would have no problem at least getting a majority of the cargo unloaded.
Yeah, fair enough. And Roman does say that he doesn't say like he got all of the dust shipment, but he's like, but I stole enough of it. Like he stole the majority of that shipment. So yeah.
Yeah, and so it's just like
stole/destroyed.
So it's like, okay, so knowing how much dust, well, if we're gonna take from dusk to dawn as an example of how much dust a place can store, which apparently is quite a fucking bit.
Well, because he had the crystals of it, he had powders of it, and he appeared to have pre-packaged ammunition of it as well.
So, and cargo containers.
Cargo containers. So 30 or so cargo containers was supposed to resupply an entire city of powdered, crystalled, and bullets. That's not a big city.
Especially not because, and this is going back to a very early episode of ours, we've already determined that these are standard-sized shipping containers. Or they appear to be anyway.
Yes. That math was figured out a long time ago. Thank you to Max again for that one.
Indeed.
Where the fuck was Roman hiding all of this?
What do you mean? Probably a warehouse in the industrial district.
he was hiding in the warehouses, yes, but docks aren't known for having warehouses right up alongside them.
I mean,
It really depends.
well-planned cities do.
No, not even that. It really depends, because most of the time those warehouses near the docks are used as temporary storage before they're moved out to other locations or picked up by 18-wheelers. So those are more like loading locations, so the cargo containers would be unloaded into those warehouses, at which point they would either go onto the local trucks, or they would go onto the trains and the 18-wheelers to be sent out across the roads and tracks to other areas. Those would not be good warehouses to hide in, because almost all of them, any good city would have nearly all of them at minimum operational if they were a port city that had high trade. Which, being that there's only 4 cities in existence to trade with tankers, I would assume that Vale in fact did have all of those operational, which means more than likely he was hiding in one of the slum warehouses that used to be in the industrial district.
Apparently a crap ton.
Well, old industrial district and poor housing. Yeah, I can imagine that would have been maybe the start of the city, or just.
Here's the issue. Due to the way the world of Ruby works, I find it hard to believe that there's going to be a lot of slums in the city of Vale.
Except apparently there was.
When?
Didn't the freaking map?
Season 1. The area that we see the White Fang burst out of. That is clear. With the White Fang meeting is when Roman busts the paladin out of a warehouse. That is clearly not an upkept part of town. And when I think it's when Blake goes to when Yang and Weiss go to the club. Once again, that is clearly not a well kept up area of a town.
Wait a second. Commercial, agricultural, upper class, residential, that's it. Where was this warehouse located? Because based on the highway structure, I kind of assumed that was the residential going into the commercial district. But there's a waterway that separates the residential district from all the other districts except Beacon.
Yep.
Look, this is just an example of the fact that Rooster Teeth doesn't know how to make maps, and the fact that this author doesn't understand how to correctly estimate a city size. Let's move on.
In Monty's defense, he made the world map using ketchup and a napkin.
This is true.
I'm not saying it's anybody's fault. I'm saying Rooster Teeth, the company, doesn't understand how to make a map. The end. Because there's been plenty of time to make an actual map.
This is gonna bother me forever now.
Yeah. This is my point, where it's just like, okay, if that's Patch right there. Okay, I didn't realize that was Patch.
Apparently.
Vale can't be that big. Like,
look, we've been doing this for half an hour now. The point is, Vale isn't that big. Move on.
I know, but it's just like everything out of the show points towards Vale being enormous, but everything that happens in the show points to Vale being like the size of maybe Camden, with having the population of maybe Camden.
And the gang problems of Camden.
No, not okay, maybe.
Sneaky, they had to call in the military. Literally the military.
I am aware.
Actually, they didn't even call in their military. They had to call in a foreign, better equipped military, Sneaky.
Which, how many battleships did he even bring?
We saw there was at least 10.
Yeah, 10 would not cover Egypt. 10 would not cover a third of the U.S. 10 would cover Camden.
And boy, does Camden need it.
What about Chicago? Maybe. I don't know the size of Chicago, so I'm not going to talk about Chicago. Because,
well, Chicago's weird because Chicago's a very large city, and it has a very sprawling, like, residential zone.
It also doesn't have any ports, to my knowledge. It's quite landlocked.
Well, I mean, we have the river, we have the Mississippi,
Huh.
we have Lake Michigan.
Oh.
Although, yes, most of the traffic, as far as I know, comes through the airports. But the Chicago River is specifically built to handle large boats.
Oh.
Oh, Max had a revelation.
Is an odd map. Okay. It took a moment because Roman is a little bit of a cunt in how he labeled his map.
Okay.
No surprise. Carry on.
Okay, so the commercial industrial district are actually right up on each other. Like the way the border
Okay,
is,
good. That makes
pretty,
sense.
I'm pretty sure the upper class is actually the light shading, and the commercial district itself is on the north side of the river, connected
Right.
to the industrial district within
Right.
that same shaded area. Does that make sense? Roman puts dumb cops, and there's a circle with a dot. I'm pretty sure that circle with dots probably his hideout, because it's the only thing denoting it different from all the other little circles around aside from Beacon.
Yeah.
And residential district, the arrow for that is, kind of stuck within the still within the little piece of content it's in for some reason. So, one, Roman's a dickhead who doesn't believe in proper map organization. 2, Roman doesn't know how to make a map. Or 3, Blake might have had a point and the cops were useless.
I think it's all three.
Yeah, I would say
I
it's probably
don't like admitting that because, like, oh yeah, he's been robbing this for a month, and you haven't thought to check the commercial and industrial districts.
You
The
know
only
what?
place they could
Clearly.
feasibly store all of this.
Honestly, my bigger problem is that the cops were like, "Oh, well, Roman's at it again, stealing all the dust in the city," and at no point in time did anyone go, "What does Roman need enough dust to fuel a city for?"
No, but remember, they didn't know it was Roman. They thought it was They thought it was the Fang.
Okay, but you have Roman, a known super thief, and every single dust shop gets robbed in a month. Even if it's the White Fang all of a sudden, it's still like, wait a second, where the fuck is all this dust going?
Roman was wanted for robbery, and don't forget, they did say that they did mention that specifically.
Yeah,
You
yes,
see
I'm
him, there are
aware.
multiple witnesses, and then we have the detectives like, maybe the White Fang are doing this too for some reason.
We have been at this for an hour now. You are correct, honestly. It's just really making me angry, though, because it brings up the source material plot holes. Anyway,
Look, all I'm saying is clearly we need to write a crack story where Batman ends up in Vale and beats the shit out of Roman and finds his hideout in like 20 minutes.
Anyway, blah blah blah. Everyone was super spooked. The main problem for Remnant was the Grim. Kingdom after kingdom would be overwhelmed. On Earth, the world leaders groaned at the revelation. Earth was no stranger to human-on-human conflict. 4 billion more would only add a headache. Oh yes, I'm sure they all were groaning. I'm sure no one thought imperialism should be given a second shot.
Imperialism would be given many, many, many more shots. Like, I'm sorry, but really, you think America wouldn't be like, oh, snap, a new continent just popped up. right next to America. Let's go plunder the hell out of it.
Anyway. Wait,
Or come on, do you expect me to believe that Russia
Wait,
wouldn't be like, this is part of Russia now?
Summer is alive? Oh, what? Oh, Vale was the first to take action. Apparently this is in the super past, back when Stark was still a team.
I mean, that's not the super past, but okay, carry on.
That's the hyper past.
Fuck you.
Get the fuck over yourself.
Turn on the channel, blah blah blah. Geologists are holding an emergency meeting today. I certainly freaking hope so. At Legion military, blah blah blah. Wide-scale barometrics. Wide-scale barometric scans have confirmed there is life on the rest of the planet.
You know what? The best part about this is now I'm hoping that there's a giant land grab, and Atlas is like, nah, we done playing the long con. It's ours.
And now I want to see Atlas try and invade
I want to see
America.
Atlas versus America.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Okay, listen. Atlas has cooler technology. We literally have more guns and bullets than we know what to do with sometimes.
We
I
literally
want to point
will
out we have
drown
a surplus of tanks.
We
Like,
will literally drown you.
Also, I really want to see, like, aha! It's an Legion Paladin! Brrrr. What was that?
Also,
Warthog.
I would like to point out the M1 Abrams tanks are all equipped with still, to this day, are equipped with depleted uranium tank buster guns. Still, they do carry those shells around still, in case they fight another tank.
Oh my god.
In case anyone was wondering, depleted uranium causes pretty boom boom when it hits other metal objects. You lose versus depleted uranium.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fairly confident that the US
And that's not even counting the fact...
any one of the three big powers on Earth right now, between Russia, China, and the US, any one of them could take on Atlas's military.
And
I feel.
heaven forbid all three of them were like, hey guys, how about we split this new continent up between us?
You do not understand. Depleted uranium will flatten people with aura. It doesn't matter. If a 135 millimeter depleted uranium tank shell does not care about your force field.
Okay, no, here's the thing.
If it's good enough to kill a Gundam, it's good enough to kill a hunter.
Alright, now, hang on, here's the thing. I'm willing to give that, some of the hunters, like Hazel, probably could take a shell. Hazel might take two. I don't think they're taking a wall of shells. I really don't.
That's being really generous.
Oh no, like I said, maybe. That's like okay, first shell, it won't kill them, but they're gonna feel it.
They're being really generous.
And that's not even counting the fact that we have things like actual railguns.
Railguns, which it's like, so that they one moment they're telling us, oh yeah, no, don't have enough power to use this, and other times like, oh, actually we have more than enough power. We just tell that to fuck with people.
Yeah, no, I've seen the railgun testing sites. We can fire those.
But here's the thing, even leaving that aside, like, oh no, Atlas has a really scary ground army. Alright, but how are they gonna deal with, like, the US fucking Navy?
we probably actually have more special forces in deployment than Atlas has a military.
Oh, I'm not even talking about the special forces, Sneaky. I'm talking about the giant fuck-off guns that we can shell them with.
Yeah, Pyrrha might be able to cause heavy damage, but I doubt she'd be able to fight a battleship. And I'm pretty sure a broadside from a battleship can solve that problem pretty quickly.
Yeah. It's like, here's the thing. Like, yeah, you can make the argument, we don't know these characters' upper limits. We can also make the argument, we'll just keep pushing until we hit them.
You don't understand how quickly America can actually escalate. Like, yes, we've been fairly
not just America. America, Russia, China.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I'm
As
just putting
Arn
it out
says, we have enough bombs to just carpet bomb Remnant. We have a lot of bombs stocked up. And I did the math.
It was fun math.
Wasn't that like 3 years ago?
That was
Maybe
like a
you guys
year
should-
ago.
I thought that was a couple. I thought there was at least 2.
No, explain it to an alien started like a year ago at best.
No, I think it was 2 years.
Maybe 2 years.
Yeah. Either way, it's time to update the math.
Yeah, maybe.
Look, the point is, we have a lot.
Yeah, we have a lot. Point being, America has a lot of guns. China and Russia have a bit more. Not as cool guns, but still a lot of them.
Yeah.
And, like I said, in addition to all of this, we didn't even get to the stuff I wanted to complain about, which was the actual physics of popping a continent in.
Remnant and Earth might have fucked up physical laws to the point of nukes being useless? No, it wouldn't. Earth didn't get bigger, Zeeks. The continents of Remnant just kind of appeared in
Unless
the Atlantic
he's trying
Ocean.
to say that nuclear fission would no longer apply.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. Even if nuclear fission no longer applies,
I don't know why nuclear
we
fission
still
would
have-
stop working, because we wouldn't have a sun anymore.
I'm just saying, even if Earth somehow lost the ability to split atoms, we still have gunpowder, which most of our weapons run off of. We still have the ability to fire.
Remnant basically has Why would magic make nuclear fission not work?
As far as we know, atoms are still atoms on
Would
Remnant.
gravity be affected? Now that's actually the real question.
In theory, it should be, shouldn't it?
I
actually,
would say
a whole new continent.
I would say yeah, but the thing here is though, it's going to add minuscule levels of mass in terms of the total whole. Because the author is saying the continents are appearing in between America and Europe. It's not like
no, he didn't say specifically where, just that they're showing up near other continents.
Yeah, but there's
For all we know,
nowhere
this
else
just
to
filled up
really-
the Pacific, in which
But you couldn't really fill up the Pacific. That would like destroy a lot of islands.
That's its own problem.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, no. Where are we gonna stick all these?
Literally only the Atlantic.
Everywhere.
Yeah, literally only the Atlantic doesn't have actually like countries in the Atlantic. Like,
I don't think there's anywhere you can safely put this.
It would increase the world's
I want to point out.
Oh, totally, it would fuck the climate. Oh, of course. Yeah, no, that would destroy water streams. Yeah.
Well, no, look. Also, here's the thing. I want to point something out. I went ahead and I looked up the largest guns ever mounted on U.S. battleships.
Okay.
As of 1980, the largest guns to be on U.S. battleships were 406 millimeters. They were 16-inch guns.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you get hit by that, you kind of been deleted.
I don't care how awesome Aura is. We'll just shell you with those.
I mean, that's what we did in World War II in the Pacific. We're like, you know what, we could invade these islands, but hey, fuck it, just shell the shit out of them.
Yeah. And here's the thing: those were the main guns. The secondary batteries were reduced to a mere. Let's see, what were they? They were changed out from 10 twin mount guns and 10 twin gun mounts and 20 guns to 6 twin gun mounts with 12 guns of I'm not sure how large. Oh, I'm sorry. They were only 5 inches, 127 millimeters. Only 127 millimeters. The main battery could hit targets 32 kilometers away.
Yeah, it's just... Humans have gotten exceedingly proficient at finding ways to kill each other.
Now, let's just say, okay, anything
Blah,
that's
blah, all the
32
students,
kilometers
yeah,
away
you
is safe. Let's see what the
Nothing's
largest
happening.
piece of artillery is, shall we?
Humanity, why?
What, Max?
Some companies and apparently in 2012 or 2013, it's like, oh hey, here, have a 950 caliber cannon.
Yeah.
This is no, humanity, stop. We need to stop upscaling. This is
No,
getting
escalation is the only way! We must have our gyrojet auto blasters!
Oh god.
Anyway, blah blah blah. Okay, blah blah blah. Everyone,
was a thing.
Beacon is mobilizing for war. Blah blah blah.
Oh, guys, here we go. This was a pet project of Saddam Hussein, Project Babylon. Guns designed to launch targets, to launch projectiles into orbit to come back down. They would have had 156 meter long barrels.
Huh. Apparently, we're going back to World War II stuff. Largest gun ever fired and used in action.
Wasn't that the railgun from Germany?
Yeah, Hitler
they
ordered
sure
2
were
cannons.
Gustavs.
Yeah, Hitler ordered 2 cannons. They were named Gustav and Dora. They fired 7-ton ammunition over 25 miles.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And yes, those are railguns, but they exist, and humanity can make them.
No, those aren't even real. How did these things? If these things were fired with powder of any kind, I'm going to be upset.
No, I'm sorry. When I say railgun, I'm referring to the original definition of it, as in it was a railway. It was a gun.
Those two guns were guns mounted on a double-tracked train.
Because there was literally no other way to fire them.
No, I know where that came from, but I'm actually going to be upset. Because, humanity, what is wrong with you?
Bigger guns are necessary for victory.
Look, all of this to say, I don't care how cool Aura is, how awesome it is. They're fucked.
Okay, so this is Europe. So yeah, they're in the called it. They're in the Atlantic. Wait. RAF. Yeah, Royal Air Force. Yeah, Atlantic.
Yeah. No, that's Britain. That's the Royal Air Force.
Yep, Britain. Blah blah blah. NATO. Blah blah blah. Rorsch. Blah blah blah. Murphy's Law. Blah blah blah. North Atlantic. Boom. Radar, weapons, Typhoon, Tornado, whoosh, British fighters broke the sound barrier over both of the aircraft, beep, 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 beep. Beeping in a plane's never a good sign. Good news, bad news, good news. It's not grim. Bad news, 4 jets passed over us. I don't think it's another team because 3 of them have missile lock on us. Fair enough. That's mildly amusing. Identified aircraft. You're in restricted British airspace. Identify yourself immediately. You'll be shot down, detained. blah 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 investigation. Beacon lead, flyback to point of origin. That wasn't tense at all. I mean, I guess the British Royal Air Force had a good reaction. I don't know too much about the RAF, so I wouldn't be able to...
I know nothing about the RAF.
The Grim came. Thank you, Angela Merkel. Hey, man, we gotta provide refuge for them. They are persecuted species.
No, don't you fucking start.
Alright, well, sorry everyone for abusing the shit out of the time here to do this. I don't know, do you guys want to carry on and go past our 2-hour mark, or are you ready to check out of life?
Food, but I say, you know what? Let's come back to this. Let's come back to this on Tuesday. Let's see where the author goes with this. I want to know.
All right, well, we'll put this with the Tuesday.
I want to see if the author is intelligent enough to talk about all of the horrifying problems that they would cause with this.
All right, so are we going to be doing more fix tonight, or what's going down? Vote, please.
I say we stop. It's 4 minutes just shy of our stopping time.
Yep.
I need food.
All right. You guys feel like doing some stick fight tonight?
Probably not.
I have a new fighting game. No.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Fair enough. All right then.
Arn, you don't get a vote.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this wonderful trip of pain and agony. As always, we will be here every Tuesday and every Friday, or at least I'll be here every Tuesday and every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, reading off absolutely crap fictions with the hopes of finding that one golden trophy of a fiction, which so far has been a not happening. So, as always, Discord down below if you feel like keeping up with the updates. This will be up next week on YouTube if you want to archive it. And if you're watching this on the archive, thanks for making it to this point. Give us those likes and the comments and the fun stuff to make Google think we're relevant, because relevancy is always nice for the pocket. Anyway, see you all next time, and remember, there's always more, and it always gets worse.